Unmute yourself.
Oh,
There you are. There you are.
it took a minute. I didn't do anything.
What's that?
It takes a moment to kick in.
Oh, yeah, it does. So you can get on the. Well, good morning.
Morning. How are you?
It's a big day. I'm moving. What pandemic?
So,
I'm working. I'm working for no money, but it's good. We have more people talking with a potential investor today, and you're having kind of onboarding a new partner who's been doing a similar thing in New York. Brilliant guy, worked for Noggin and Nickelodeon, and he's worked for the networks already, so he's done quite well and is known, and he's just super smart. But he also is learning some things from me, and that's good. So
and
the team is growing.
so it seems like this is a perfect lead-in to our topic today,
Yes.
rejection,
Yes. Taking
because we're on the other side of it right now, which is you have all, for lack of a better word, I hate this word, and I'll tell you why a little later, hope about stuff that will happen. It's a big day. You're excited. There's things happening. And a lot of people don't, I don't know. What do you think about rejection? What comes to mind for you?
Well, there's a lot of rejection that's silent. You just
Yeah.
don't get a call back. I'm fundraising. I put something out there, and I've really been thinking about myself, my approach. Am I too strident? Are the things that I'm saying not succinct enough? I'm constantly reflecting on my performance, really. And so if you don't get feedback, that's kind of the worst rejection. I'd rather get feedback that says, you're too strident. Why do I not want to hear about xenophobia? I'm hearing it about it all the time now. Why do I not want to hear about race and racism? It's hard for people to say things like that, but if it grates on them and they don't have a response to it, then they don't say something. And there we have silent rejection.
I'm trying to be silent listening to your complaint about silent rejection.
You're wicked.
That's wicked?
That's
No, I
wicked.
thought it was a good turn of phrase. I
Well,
thought that was
that's a good
respect.
turn of phrase, but you're being silent, so I'm feeling rejected.
No, not. I'm listening to you, trying not to jump in, interrupting you.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you. Here's a pause. You can jump in now.
Oh, damn. Well, I don't want to jump in if you give me permission to do it. Kidding. All right. So a couple things that I think of about personally when you bring up this topic of silent rejection and feedback is the worst thing. You're so right. So it makes me think, so how would you get, because you don't know how to alter yourself if that truly is the answer. It may not be the answer.
You just keep scratching. Yeah.
All right, keep scratching, which is really quite futile in some ways. So how would you get feedback of that? It seems to me that before you made the contact, you would have to know something about the person to make an emotional connection to them and know something about them in some way that can translate in an email. That's hard to do.
Yeah.
In a written word. It's a hard thing to do unless you know them well. And writing, even if you know them well, is really hit and miss trying to bring somebody into you that doesn't already have a connection with you.
I think
rejection. Sorry.
Well,
You go ahead.
yeah, sorry. They give half-hour meetings, and you just start to warm up, and that's what I'm doing now. Just came through an intensive week, and there was some contact. I got some feedback from a couple of guys, but the second meeting was a half an hour, and so it was just, it will continue. They both said stay in contact. And so I am including them in my update list and sending them emails. And Ooh, it's yeah. I think last week we talked about the big hand, and I just keep swiping, and there's a hand in the sky holding my head back, and I just keep swiping.
Yeah, so I think you said something earlier that seemed to be helpful to you with this is that you have more people talking and finding people as investors. So it's not just up to you. You've indoctrinated or included or whatever you want to say other people into your cause or your interests, it sounds like.
Yeah.
So that should be helpful to move forward with this. But rejection, yeah. So rejection seems to be a really it's a tough thing to deal with because it floors people. I have a couple of examples in my life currently, and then one I just flashed on in my past that was like, oh my god, I didn't even know that I responded to rejection that way.
Mm.
The one currently is just before I got on the call with you here is I have a class at 10:30, so I send these emails out to, oh, I didn't send it yet, did I? Oh shit, all right, I'll send it at 10 o'clock. I didn't quite get to it yet. It's okay. They've seen the same time of class for 3 months now, but they still need the reminder. And usually I
Yes.
do it the night before, and we'll see how many come to class today. And then I do personal texts with people that I'm thinking of. I've got about 200 people on a mailing list. I've had 75 take the class in the
Oh,
last 3 months.
congrats. That's
So
great.
it sounds like a lot, and it is. However, what that translates to is really 4 to 13 in any one class. So it takes a lot of a mailing list and then a lot of other people to actually get them to do something.
Yeah,
I mean,
I know.
people think, oh my God, 75 people. No, they're not in one class. I mean, I did get 12 the other day, and I'm marketing all the time. I have an extensive address book list of people I've used before. If I put up the word Nicole, 10 Nicoles will come down. I go, oh, I haven't talked to this Nicole in a while. I'll put her on the list. And then I'll check in with her later. That's my marketing campaign.
Yeah,
All right.
that's what I'm
And
doing
that's
now
kind
too.
oh God. I mean, it's working, but I need to have, I'm trying to find other ways to do what I'm saying is that I deal with rejection. I sent 20 texts this morning, and I try to make them more interesting to what they're dealing with, talking to who they are. It's not just trying to get them to respond to me, which is part of it. It's trying to understand where they're at so there's a connection.
Mm.
So I
Yeah.
am making stabs and I have clues of what to do. And sometimes they
Empathy.
come, sometimes they don't.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm empathizing that a woman has this grandmother has 2 kids to be with and she can't take class 2 months ago. Well, let's see where she is today with that. So I sent
that's
a text.
very good. Very
And
good.
and and then I offer if they can't take class, I just say, you know what? I have a class on YouTube with 2 lovely ladies in the background. That's my comedy Pilates class. Look at that when you like and tell me what you think. So I offered something for free. There's my class on YouTube. So I'm trying a lot of different ways and it is successful, but I get rejected all the time. And here's a real coachy way of looking at it. I remember when I was involved with this multi-level marketing company that said, go out, don't try to get 10 people to buy your product. Try to get 25 no's. Look at it a different way.
Mhm.
Look at it as 25 no's. Why the hell would I want to do that at the time? I realized because one of those no's will probably be a yes, because your goal is to get the rejection, not the acceptance. It's trying to turn your psychology around a little bit of how you do it, right? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I kind of like it because the point is you really don't want the no. You're not going to say, hi, Katie, you don't really want to take my class, do you? There's a no. You're not going to do that. What you're going to do is you're going out to collect the no's because there's a percentage game that if you actually go and get a bunch of no's, the logic is it takes the pressure off of you and one of those will turn into a yes. I mean, that may work or not. I kind of liked it because it took a little bit of pressure off of me because we always have to be able to deal with rejection. And it's a stab at doing it. It's not the best way, but it's one funny way.
That's funny.
You never thought about that before. I could
I
tell you're
know.
looking
I
at
had,
me.
but
Oh,
part of the
well,
workshop we just did was um, really going out and getting customers, and so making lots of contacts, and just letting people know about it. And we're still doing that. I wanted to say something about rejection, and the flip side is becoming so accustomed to rejection that you're not feeling it anymore. And that you just, instead of saying, and turning it around and say, was that, asking, was that, maybe asking, was that rejection, or is there something that is there a question that I should have asked you that I missed? Or is there some,
Are you really not feeling it anymore? Really? Or are you
well, I
used
don't,
to it?
you know,
Really?
I wonder if I'm moving past it too quickly rather than sitting with
Oh,
it and digging
right.
into it and
I agree with that. I
learning
agree with
from
that.
it. That's what I mean.
I have rejection every day in my life. I take my father, here's another way, feels rejection at every turn, and that's what fuels his rage. He hears rejection where it's not there because he's so on the bone. That's another thing over here.
Have you
And he's not
ever
trying
talked to him
to.
about that? I mean, just if you could go back to his professional life and ask him about when he had drawings rejected, designs rejected, what was the one he learned most from?
I would phrase it, that's not bad for him. I would phrase it a little differently, but that's a good example to pull from because I know he had merchandisers he couldn't stand because they would have to accept his drawings or what he's doing. And they were the bane of his existence because he can't take no very well as an answer. He doesn't know how to deal with it. My mother said, did I always have problems with dad? And he said, she's always got the boxing gloves on with me. You should have seen what he was like yesterday. And I'm used to it,
Uh-huh.
I go, Tony, take the boxing gloves off. I go, Tony, take the boxing gloves off. I say to him, he doesn't even know what I mean, but it makes me laugh when I say it. So I know if I make him anyway, I goes, no, when did you have problems with him? She goes, my mother said to me, she goes, when you started saying no, I was floored by that answer.
When you started saying no.
When I remember my father as a little kid, when I was a little kid, I didn't think of him as how I think of him today, as being extremely difficult. I think before the age of 8, I didn't see him as being difficult or what I unremembered, whatever. It's when we came to California when I was 9.
Uh-huh.
And I go, did I always have difficulty with him? Because I don't remember. When did that change? And he goes, when you started saying no. I was floored by it.
Wow.
I
So
don't have that memory.
succinct. Your mother.
My mother was on it. I was shocked because there's things she doesn't necessarily remember, and I don't remember a lot of things, but that she remembered. There must have been some instance. I should have asked her, what was the instance that's in your mind that you were so clear on that? I need to still do that with her.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the example of that?
Wow,
So,
very interesting. Very interesting. I'd like to hear
so
it too.
I,
Because that
I think,
I can imagine, adoring son, he's growing up in my image, and suddenly he has metacognition at right around that age, and you're starting to see the world a little differently. And you don't want to do exactly what dad wants you to do, which is also
I never
normal for a kid.
I never do. Usually now I do, but yeah, it's different now. I have a better understanding. But yeah,
Yeah.
um, I think rejection has to be. Oh, this sounds so bad. Rejection just needs to be embraced. Um, I, I hate that. That sounds so
Well, I think the
whatever. But
reflection after it needs to be better embraced.
totally, you're totally right. Our own experience with the rejection. We have to feel it. You were so spot on when you said, I'm going over the rejection too quickly. Then you turn into an obnoxious salesperson. Not you, one of us
Yeah.
does, right?
Here, take
Not,
it, take it, take it.
we don't like this. How about this? How about this? How about this? How about this? I got a million. How about this? How about this?
See, this is why I needed to have this conversation this morning.
Why?
Because,
Did it help you? Is it helping
yes, it
you?
does. Thank you. Because especially now I'm directing a team, and I want to be
Yeah.
a good director, and that takes taking time to reflect and slowing down. And I've been really reflecting on that stridence and energy, and just I want to be. When I turned 50, I decided, okay, I need to be cool. I'm still working on that, just presenting a cool, knowledgeable persona. And
But
it,
the problem with that goal, even though it's a nice goal, it really
don't
doesn't allow you.
reject me, don't reject me. Go
Oh my God, is that a rejecting? I didn't think it was rejecting at all. Is that how you heard it? Oh my God.
ahead.
I'm just joking. Um, that it doesn't allow you to be human when you want to be cool. What happens if you're in a panic or an anxious state? What the hell do you do? Do you cover it up?
Well,
Do
that's
you, what
true,
I do,
true.
you know, what I do, a lot of people, there's nothing almost worse than people, they're stressed, but they're going to talk to you like this. I'm really good. Let's move forward. Oh my God. So they have this modeled self because they have no way to integrate their panic, suffering, their anxiety of whatever's happening in the moment in a way that enriches the moment. They have no skill set. Most people don't, you know, and I think that what I've learned to do is I've learned to integrate it in humor. If I'm suffering and I'm teaching class, and the word suffering is, ooh, what is that? What do you mean you're suffering? What do you mean? I mean, struggling. Let's go back to a more, people don't like the word suffering. It's too heavy, like self-hate. People rather say, I'm self-critical. The same thing with suffering. It's struggling. So if you're struggling at a time and you want to, and you don't want to show that to people, I integrate it in humor because
Hmm.
then I'm not lying. They understand where I'm at and it's accepted by them and they don't reject me for who I am right then.
This is true, but I'm finding myself in situations, just recently, where we have very compressed time, and we have a moment in front of people, and things just have to be right. You know, they understand that too, to a degree, but if you get it right, then they're sending you on to the next step. If you don't, well, they say, I love your project, but keep working on it.
You
Instead
know,
of
you,
inviting you into the accelerator where you want to go.
you, uh, you just brought up, I'm so glad you said that earlier. And I'm glad you brought it up again. I have something to say about that.
Please, we have one more minute. Go ahead.
It seems to me you need to know how to pitch
Yeah.
well with whatever time you have. And I was going to take a pitching festival for my screenwriting where you have to know how to do the elevator pitch, the 1 minute, the 2 minute pitch, the 5 minute pitch, the 10 minute pitch, or the pitch that starts evolving and they want more, even though you're not prepared to pull in.
Yeah.
It's like doing stand-up comedy, reading the room. And that's a skill that has to be practiced,
Yep.
that kind of pitching, which is what you're basically saying. The compressed time is you just have to learn, not just, but to learn to pitch better in what you have time seems to be a way to go with this.
Yeah.
I gotta learn.
There's actually a TED Ed workshop I've signed our team up for. Maybe you can join in. But it's finding the streamline of the through line of your story. I feel like and I've written pages of these things, of the 1 minute, the 30-second, the elevator, and I have you, but I have many of them swimming around in my head. I need one, and to practice and practice and practice them. Yep, that is the story, and I should have a regular time with my team to do that. And
Sounds like
yeah,
you're going to be a coach for other people. You get them to do what you want to do, and maybe you can make them do it better than you, and have
well,
them do it for you. Sure.
that is true. I think we should all do it, and I should just, you're really good at this right now. Do it. And we
So,
all want to get better at it, which is a good thing, which is a good thing.
so
Darling, it's
what?
10 o'clock. You've got to email your people, and I've
Yeah, I
got to
do.
look up 3 different platforms and understand how they work. Oh,
I'm going to email. I have some questions, but we could save it. I could put it in an email, so
oh,
I could do
thank
that
you.
for you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay.
Good to see you. Have
Nice
a
to
nice
see you.
day. Go forward into the rejection. Yay.
Perfect. Bye.
Bye bye.